I, I don't know how I'm supposed to review this movie. I'm still so scared. Hello everybody, it's your good friend Bongo, and I'm here today to review this horror movie that scared the crap out of me. It's called The Nuns. So The Nuns is a prequel movie to these other horror movies that came out a few years ago called The Condiments. And in The Condiments, we were introduced to this character who is a nun, and she's very scary and very bad. And the roughly 20 seconds of screen time that we saw of her meant that we have to get a spin-off movie, which is so good because you know that the character is so excellent that we need to see more of her. Anyway, I wasn't sure if I wanted to see this movie because it looks so scary from the trailers. But then Jensen, you know, he's a bit of a wuss. He was like, oh, hey, Bongo, you come see this movie with me so I don't you know, I don't look silly when I'm jumping in my seat. So I thought, oh, well, whatever, we'll go see it, you know, how bad can it be? But, oh, let me tell you, this was the scariest movie I've ever seen. You see, I wasn't a big fan of the Condiments movies because they spent too much time just kind of lollygagging around and, you know, building up suspense and stuff when everybody knows that the key to a good horror movie is jump scares. That's right. See, you know, a good horror movie is one that you want to be scared in, and the best way to scare an audience is to have things jumping at the screen with loud noises all the time. So this, The Nuns, was directed by some guy, and it stars all these people. One of them, the main actress, is the younger sister of Vera Parmigiano, who was in the first Condiments movies. And the story is, it's set in somewhere in Belgium or Switzerland, or I don't really know. And it's set about 200 years ago, give or take. And there's a place where all these nuns live, and someone commits suicide, and so these people have to go and investigate. And during the investigation, it's revealed that there's this evil spirit, yeah, that's about all that happened. But what this movie lacked in plot, it more than made up for in scares. Oh my goodness! I looked over at Dan Jensen a couple of times, and I don't know. It looked like he was maybe praying for a savior or something, because a couple of times in this movie he was sitting there with his eyes closed. Later on, I spoke to him, and he said that he was nearly asleep because the movie was so full of poppycock and just boring stuff. But I don't know. That's not true. You see, what he was missing was that you need all these slow bits in between the scares to make the scares more scary. Because this movie lulls you into a false sense of security by having all these really long exposition scenes and just people walking around looking at walls and stuff. And, you know, before you know it, you've got more jump scares. So the performances in the movie, well, I don't know, they weren't that good. The cinematography and editing and everything was, well, look, it wasn't the best, but this is a horror movie. You're there to be scared. You're not there to see Oscar-winning performances and clever storytelling or anything like that. And I guess it could be argued that there were a lot of things in this movie that didn't really make sense. Like, you know, in terms of the overall story, just random things happening. But, you know, it just looked cool. Everything looked so cool. So I was engrossed in the whole thing. And I didn't even notice, you know, all these things that didn't make sense, really, because I was just so scared. Aside from that, I guess it didn't really tie into into the Condiments movies very well, but, you know, again, that just shows the strength of this movie, standing on its own and being its own thing. It doesn't need to rely on other movies. So, on the drive home, like Dan was saying that if it wasn't for the 50 Shades movie, which he didn't like, you know, this movie would probably be the worst thing he's seen this year. But, and he said he'd probably give it like a 0.5 out of 10, only because some of the shots looked, you know, a little bit interesting. But, look, I don't know. I have not felt this scared in a movie in so long, and I'm going to give The Nuns a 9 out of 10 bananas. Seriously, if you only see one horror movie this year, make sure it's The Nuns. You are guaranteed to be scared out of your pants. And trust me, I should know because I don't even wear any. So thank you for taking the time to watch my review of The Nuns, and let me know down in the comments below if you've seen The Nuns, what you thought of it. Was it the scariest movie you've seen all year? And make sure you subscribe to this channel so that way you can see more of my reviews and interviews and stuff, and also that other guy who sometimes does reviews. So I look forward to seeing you for more reviews. No monkey business.
Click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest movie reviews. Skynet will be taking over any day now, so what have you got to lose? Nyah.